Hello, and welcome to Turner Sensei's Math 6 videos. Today we will be working with dividing decimals. There are two basic ways that we'll be working with this. So I'm going to start off dividing decimals by whole numbers. We have an example problem here, 6.75 divided by 3. Before we begin, I'm going to take a moment to talk about a little bit of vocabulary. The dividend is the number that is being divided. In this case, that dividend is 6.75. The divisor is the number that you divide by. In this case, our divisor is 3. The quotient is the result of a division problem. We're going to get our quotient momentarily. So let's set this up as a long division problem. To set up long division, we put the dividend inside. We put the divisor outside our division sign. And our quotient is going to go up top. To find our quotient, we take each digit at a time and we go, 6 divided by 3 is what? In this case, 6 divided by 3, that's 2. Now, we need to see how much we have left over. So we multiply 2 times our divisor here, 3. We get 6. I'm going to subtract 6 from here. We're left with 0. We have to drop down a 7 for our next number. So now we go, okay, how many times does 3 go into 7? It's not going to go in evenly, but the most number of times it'll fit is 2. So we again do 2 times 3, and we're going to subtract 6. This leaves us with 1. We have to drop the 5 down. Now we have 15. How many times does 3 go into 15? That would be 5 times. So we're going to subtract 15, that's 5 times 3, and we're left with no remainder here. This means that we can stop doing our division problem, and now we need to put in the decimal. The decimal is going to go right above where the decimal was in our dividend. So our quotient is 2.25. I will leave this up here for a moment for you to copy this down into your notes. Please remember to put your vocabulary into your notes, as well as this example. If you need to, pause the video for a moment before moving on. So for our second example, we're going to be dividing 15 by 4.5. I'm going to circle our dividend again. Our dividend in this case is 15. And our divisor in this case is 4.5. Notice now that we have a decimal point in our divisor. This is something that doesn't fit well with the long division that we have done before. So I'm going to set up our long division symbol here. And instead of putting in 15 and 4.5, we need to rewrite these a little bit. We can only have whole numbers in our divisor if we want to do long division. So we have to move the decimal point over. What we're really doing when we do this is we are multiplying by 10. If we multiply this by 10, that's going to change our problem, unless we multiply this by 10 as well. So we've got to move our decimal here as well. There's no place for our decimal to move, so we add a 0. This now becomes a division problem of 150 divided by 45. Now with this problem we've got a 2-digit number that we're dividing into a 3-digit number. So we need to estimate how many times this is going to go in. Clearly, 45 isn't going to go evenly into 1. so we're going to put a placeholder 0 here. It's not going to go evenly into 15 either, so we put a placeholder 0 here. It can go into 150, but we don't know how many times it can go in. This is where estimating can help us. 45 rounds up to 50. How many times does 50 go into 150? It goes in 3 times. So we're going to try 3. So 3 times 45, we do 3 times 5 is 15. Carry a 1. And we have 3 times 4 is 12. Plus that 1 is 13. So we're subtracting 135. Uh-oh. We're left with 15 again. At this point, we don't have any more things to carry down. So we're going to have to add a 0. So now, how many times does 45 go into 150? Well, we saw up here that it goes 3 times. So we're going to put another 3. This multiplies 3 times 45 to make 135. And we're left with 15 again. Uh-oh. It looks like we're going to be stuck doing this for a very long time. There's not a way to divide by this where we're not going to repeat. So we know that we're going to get in our quotient 3, 3, 3, 3, and some decimals repeat. To show that they do, we put a line over that digit. And if we look, there's not a decimal point in our dividend, so we're going to have to make one. Remember that every whole number is really that whole number, 0.0. So our decimal point here is going to go right after the first 3. So our quotient is going to be 3.3 repeating. Take a moment to copy this into your notes, and we will have 2 examples at the end of the video to help you practice. So take this down, pause if you need to, and when you resume, we will begin our examples. We have 2 examples up here for you to try. Pause the video while you work, and when you resume the video, we'll give the worked solutions to these problems. If we start with this first problem, our dividend is 4.77, and our divisor is 2. So at each step of the way, we need to ask, how many times does 2 go into the next digit? So 2 goes into 4 twice. Now we take 2 times 2 is 4. We subtract, and we have a remainder of 0 here. We carry down the 7. Now, we go, how many times does 2 go into 7? It doesn't go evenly, but it will fit 3 times. So now we do 3 times 2, we subtract 6, and we're left with 1. We have to carry down the 7, and we ask ourselves, how many times does 2 go into 17? Again, it doesn't go evenly, but we can fit 8 groups of 2 into 17. We multiply 8 by 2, subtract 16, we have a remainder of 1. We have to add another digit, another placeholder 0 here, and drop it down. Now, how many times does 2 go into 10? It goes in 5 times. 5 times 2, we subtract 10, and we are left with no remainder. So now, we need to figure out where to put our decimal point. We keep it lined up with that in the dividend, and we find that our answer is 2.385. Let's take a look at this problem. 15.5 divided by 2.5. We need to multiply both of these by 10 So we are really working with 155 divided by 25. So on the inside, we have our dividend, which is now 155. I'm going to put a 0.0 to remind us that we're probably going to need to find where that decimal point is. And our divisor is 25. As we divide, we look and go, 25 cannot go into 1, so we put a 0. It cannot go into 5, so we put a 0. It can fit into 155, but it's not going to fit evenly. If I count up by 25s, I go 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, and 150. So we have 6 times that it goes in, so we're going to put a times 6 here. 6 times 25 is 150. We subtract that, and we're left with a remainder of 5. We need to carry down this placeholder 0. Now we ask ourselves, how many times will 25 fit into 50? It fits in twice. 2 times 25 is 50, so we subtract 50 and are left with no remainder. We need to place our decimal point right above, so our final answer is 6.2. Students, please remember to fill out your notes and have those ready to be checked off in our next class session. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments section below or email me directly. Parents, teachers, and administrators, if you're looking to use these videos, there is curriculum alignment information below as well as links to additional resources. Thank you for watching.